English football's largest and most controversial case has a start date.
The Premier League are taking to task their own champions for 115 alleged breaches of financial regulations.
Some of those charges are extremely serious. I mean, there are, the claim is that they've been falsifying their accounts.
These are very, very serious charges. The most serious charges are that across 9 seasons.
Now, the Premier League's long-awaited hearing into Manchester City's 115 charges for alleged financial rule breaches begins today.
It is hard to understate just how important this is and the implications.
Manchester City, and rightly so, they defend themselves. They say they're innocent of all charges. But if you're innocent of all charges, why do people keep saying we're going to be kicked the can down the road?
Because this is a club transformed from one that went decades without a trophy to one that's won the league 5 years out of the last 6. That is a long way from where it was in 2008.
Manchester City is in the headlines again, and not for the usual reasons. Their director of football, Tiki Begiristain, the guy who brought Pep Guardiola to the club, is leaving at the end of the season. Now that's kinda sketchy, right? But does he know something we don't? Is this guy jumping ship because things are about to go south? But forget Tiki for a second. What's really going on with City and those 115 charges? That's not just a small fine or a slap on the wrist we're talking about. If City's found guilty, what does that mean for the club? Could they lose their titles, get slapped with a massive fine, or worse, relegation? First off, let's break down what we're looking at here. Manchester City's been charged with 115 breaches of Premier League financial regulations, and this isn't some small investigation. The stakes? Massive. We're talking fines, points deductions, and even relegation. Imagine City playing in the Championship. Let's rewind a bit. How did we even get here? Well, City's incredible success since Sheikh Mansour took over in 2008 didn't just happen overnight. They went from a mid-table team to absolute dominators. 8 Premier League titles in the last 13 seasons and finally winning the Champions League in 2023. Sounds like a dream run, right? Well, dreams don't come without some skeletons in the closet. Turns out, City might have bent a few rules along the way. Out of those 115 charges, 80 are related to breaching financial rules between 2009 and 2018. That's almost a decade of, let's say, creative accounting. The other 35 charges? Well, that's for not cooperating with the Premier League during the investigation. So, what are they accused of exactly? The main issue here is financial fair play, or FFP. The Premier League is saying City didn't give accurate financial reports. We're talking inflated sponsorships, hidden payments to players and managers, and some dodgy contracts. Remember Roberto Mancini? When he was managing City, it's alleged he had 2 contracts, one official and one secret. The second one for consulting a club in the UAE, which just happens to be owned by the same guy who owns City. That consulting gig allegedly paid him more than his actual salary at City. Smart, right? Well, not when it comes to FFP rules. Here's where it gets even crazier. This whole investigation kicked off because of a hacker. Yeah, a Portuguese hacker named Rui Pinto leaked a bunch of emails and a German outlet ran the story. Suddenly, UEFA was investigating and now the Premier League's all over it too. So what does City have to say? Well, they're playing it cool. When the charges were first announced, they released a statement saying they were shocked and they've shared all the necessary info with the Premier League. Basically, they're acting like nothing to see here. But actions speak louder than words, and dragging out the investigation for 4 years doesn't exactly scream innocence.
My first thought is that we are already being condemned. So like what's happened right now, these weeks after Monday, it's happened the same what happened in UEFA.
Now, let's talk about the consequences. If City is found guilty, it's not gonna be pretty. Fines? Yeah. We're talking tens of millions, but that's probably the least of their worries. More serious punishment like points deductions or even relegation are on the table. Imagine the reigning Premier League champs dropping down a division. That would shake football to its core, and there's even the possibility of City losing their titles. All those trophies they've won in the past decade, gone. Wiped from the record books. If you think that's dramatic, remember, Everton just got hit with a 10-point deduction for breaking some Premier League rules, and the case was way smaller than City's. City's got 115 charges to deal with. This could be way worse for them. And what about Pep Guardiola and Erling Haaland? Both of these guys are at City to win trophies. And if the club gets hit with serious sanctions, you have to wonder if they'll want to stick around. Guardiola has always backed the club, saying he believes they're innocent. But if City's found guilty, that trust might be shattered. And Haaland, he's the best striker in the world right now. He can easily move to another top club if City's future is in jeopardy. Pep's been pretty vocal about the situation though. He said multiple times that he believes City is innocent and he's ready for the case to finally be resolved. But man, if the decision goes against them, it's gonna be a whole different story. And it's not just about punishing City, it's about restoring some fairness in the league. These clubs feel like City's had an unfair advantage for years, and if they're guilty, the punishment needs to fit the crime. The crazy part is that this isn't just about the Premier League. City's legal battle could have a massive ripple effect on financial fair play as a whole. If City wins this case, it could set a precedent that changes the way FFP is enforced. But if they lose, it could tighten the grip on financial regulation across Europe. The trial is expected to last about 10 weeks, and the outcome? We won't know until next summer. So, City's got some time to prepare for the worst, but they'll be playing with this cloud hanging over their heads the whole season. And don't forget, this trial is happening behind closed doors, no public drama, no courtroom spectacle, just a quiet, private hearing. We'll only know the verdict when it's posted on the Premier League's website. Talk about suspense. So, what do you guys think? Is this the beginning of the end for Manchester City's dominance, or will they find a way to wriggle out of this one, just like they did with the UEFA a few years ago? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and if you like this video, hit that like button, subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any updates on this wild saga. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.